My name is Stefan Weidmann, and this is a speech on Rome, Italy. Did you know that nearly 700,000 euros worth of coins are tossed into Rome's Trevi fountain each year? The proceeds are donated to Caritas to help those in need. Rome is pretty cool, and I've done a lot of research on Rome. There's a lot of cool stuff to be said about it. I'm sure a few among you have been there. Personally, I've not, but I'm sure it would be cool. Rome was home to about 3 million people, but back at its peak in 117 AC, there was a whopping 50 million people. Rome has had a long history, and that's where I'll start this speech, by explaining a little bit about Rome's history and why it makes the city so great. Beginning in the 8th century BC, ancient Rome grew from a small town in Italy's Tiber River into an empire that at its peak encompassed most of continental Europe and Britain. After 400 years as a republic, Rome became an empire in the wake of Julius Caesar's rise and fall in the 1st century BC. The long and triumphant reign of its first emperor Augustus began a golden age of peace and prosperity, and by contrast, the Roman Empire's decline and fall by the 5th century AD, which was one of the most dramatic implosions in the history of human civilization. Around the year 180, the incompetence of Commodus brought the golden age of the Roman Empire to an end. His death at the hands of his own ministers sparked a period of civil wars. The years following led to a cycle of near constant conflict within Rome. A total of 22 emperors took the throne, many of them meeting violent ends at the hands of the same soldiers that gave them power. To aid in Rome's decline, outside conflict continued, eventually depleting Rome's riches. During the reign of Diocletian, the emperor saw some peace again, but at the cost of its unity. Diocletian divided power into the so-called Tetrarchy, sharing the title of emperor with Maximin. In the year 430, Rome eventually collapsed under the weight of its own empire, losing its provinces one by one. First it lost Britain, then Spain and northern Africa. Attila and the Huns invaded Gaul and Italy, taking over the Roman army. Soon after, the Germanic prince Odovacar invaded, disposed of the last emperor Romulus Augustus, and proclaimed himself as king of Italy. This was the final stage of the fall of the Roman Empire. Roman architecture and engineering innovations have had a lasting impact on the modern world. Roman aqueducts, first developed in 312 BC, enabled the rise of cities by transporting water to urban areas, improving public health and sanitation. Some of Roman aqueducts transported water up to 60 miles from its source, and the Fountain of Trevi in Rome still relies on an updated version of an original Roman aqueduct. Roman cement and concrete are part of the reason ancient buildings like the Colosseum and Roman Forum are still standing strong today. Roman arches improved upon earlier design versions of arches, creating taller and stronger buildings. Their roads, being the most advanced in the ancient world, enabled Rome to stay connected. They included mile markers and drainage. Over 50,000 miles of road were built by 200 BC, and several are still used today. In conclusion, there are many fascinating places in the world with rich culture and history. Rome is no exception to that. Their long history of wars, kings, religion, architecture, and art changed the world we know today. And because of it, we live the lives we do. So if ever in your life there's an opportunity to visit Rome, I would do so. Are there any questions? No? Okay.